Here in the workshop. It's a Friday evening and we're gonna get some stuff done on the Proton pack. Thanks for joining me here. There's only a few days now, I guess, because it's a week tomorrow till Ghostbusters Day. And so the plan here is to try and get this baby finished before Ghostbusters Day and then wear it, and I can share the video of that happening with you live at Ghostbusters Day next Saturday. That's the hope. But there is a lot to do. There is a lot to do on the pack. It may look to you like it's in a good spot, but there is a lot still to do with the pack. Last time we did a live, we did some weathering on this pack. And as you can see here, that weathering is coming together pretty well. I'm quite pleased with it. Yeah, we've got various bits and pieces going on here. Oh, and I need to turn the volume down on my other device here. I just realized. Get out of the bed. Because it's throwing adverts at me. Sorry about that. Mo, hello, welcome. Just some random oxidized fan. Oxinidite. I'm sorry, I'm saying that wrong. But welcome. Francisco, hello. Sadistic Minds, hello. Welcome, folks. Yes, yeah, I've been doing various different techniques. The rub and buff. So actually, yeah, what I've been doing, I've been putting some silver paint on a cloth and kind of rubbing this into various areas to give that sense that it's more metallic in some spots. And this is just the start. There's a lot more to do. So District Mods, hello. Mofip's saying, can't stay for that long, currently 1:30 a.m. here. I'm sorry that it's late. It would be a Saturday normally that I would do the live from the workshop, but I've got stuff going on tomorrow that I need to do. So thought I'd do it today because I don't want to miss a slot. Francisco saying, would love to know how you did the metallic cylinder. Cool, yeah. So this was like a mix of paint that I did here on this. So some silver paint, and then actually I've added, if you can see here closely, I've added some rust to this. And there's a bunch of different techniques for doing that. I'll show you a couple of the tools that I used. So these are actually modeling paints that you can get. One of these is streaky grime, and the other is crusted rust. You can get both of those off Amazon, but they're quite useful paints if you're doing aging. And the other thing that I've just gone ahead and done, I showed this last week when I did this. This was the steering wheel I made, the Mad Max Fury Road style steering wheel. But you see again the metal mixed with the rust. It's a mixture of a really high shine metallic paint and then various layers. So like a black wash, which gives it this kind of oily look. And then some brown that's kind of stippled in here to make it look like rust. But it gives it that, you know, kind of changes that metal. And that's basically the same thing that I did over here on the Proton pack. So hopefully that answers your question there. Cool. So let's get on with it. I was just checking there weren't any other questions in chat. The other thing that I've got today, and I realized I've left it all upstairs, is the electronics. So I was working, let me bring the camera over here for you guys to see. So I've been working on trying to get some of the electronics done for this. Where's the angle that I need? Here it is. Yes, we'll come this way a little bit. So yeah, I've been working on some of the electronics for this, and I bought myself a power pack. This is one of the talent cells. So this is a 12 volt. It has a 12 volt out, and it has a 9 volt out on the top, which is going to power both the lights on my pack and the sound unit. And I talked a few times before about this sound unit, which is an MP3 player, basically. You can program up to 4... Let me see, is it 4 gig? It must be 4 gig, yeah, of content onto this, audio content onto this. And then when you turn on the power, so that's the power down sound. And again, if you turn it on again, That's the power up sound. And so the idea is to get that to go along with this when you turn the switch on. So I'm going to take the switch out of this and wire it to the switch on the pack, so that literally powering up this pack powers up those sound effects that we're just talking about here. But I was pretty pleased with that. But the one thing about this is that it isn't as loud as I would like it to be. So my plan is I'm going to add 2 additional speakers. I'm going to mount them on the motherboard to create space for the audio to happen. Let's see what questions people are asking. Can I send a link to that unit? Yes, the sound unit. Yeah, what I'll do is I'll have a look. I'll have a check online. I can't remember exactly what it's called now, but I'll have a look for you, and I will do that. Yes, I will do that. And when I do, there's going to be a final video of the build for this whole thing. So when I finish the pack, there's going to be a build video of the whole thing, a long form video. And so I want to make sure that I'll put all of the links in there as well. Who else is online here? Talent Cell Battery Mo is saying, yes, Talent Cell. Yes, Mo, you talking about that last week, right? Talent Cell, they're great. They're really, really good. Let's see, what else are people saying? Music Underground, hello. Your son, Chauncey loves Ghostbusters. That's awesome. Well, welcome. This is a fun Ghostbusters build video. That's what this is. Let me just put this camera over here so I can talk to you guys. Let's answer some of these questions. Let's see. Stole the Rust Weathering Trick by Adam Savage. A combo of sealant and face mud and clay. Yeah, the face mud is great. I have that just out of shot actually, but it's really good. Yeah, mixing those things together to create that crusty look can be really, really good. Astro Controller, hello, welcome, good to see you here. Gavin, hello, what's up? All is good, thank you, Gavin, thanks for asking. Francisco, can you send a link to that sound unit? I've already answered that, I will. I can't do it right now, but I will try and add it in the comments after we've done the live stream. I'll go look it up for you. Gavin, enjoy watching the rest of your movie. Mo's saying, don't need to take out the old switch, just open the battery and you will see the 2 pins that are wired to the switch. You can solder your own switch to these pins and just drill a little hole. That's a very, very good idea. I like that idea. Yeah, so what you're saying is you can keep the on-off switch as it is, but add an additional switch. So it's basically 2 switches that will do the same job. Yeah, and then I guess you could unplug it then if you did some kind of connector so you could take the whole pack out. I like that idea. I like it a lot. The Soul of the Mind, hello, welcome. It's good to have you folks here. So, yes, from an electronics point of view, there's been so much going on with the pack. I've been trying to, I started, as you can see here, actually, let me just move the camera a little bit. I haven't got the gimbal today, so it's a little more awkward. I started adding these pipe connector pieces. And so I actually added this, in fact, that's the wrong pipe, it's this pipe here, I believe. Added this in here, but I had a little bit of trouble with my mechanism for gluing these connectors on. So that's something I worked on today. I actually went to the hardware store and bought some very thick wire that I can use to join this for these different sections. So yeah, and I'm kind of at the point where I also need to start adding the stickers onto the pack. Because if I don't do that soon, then the weathering will need to be redone all again, which is not something that I want to have to do from scratch. Let's see, who else is here? Yeah. Motma, he ignored me and I'm out. I'm sorry. I don't think you said anything other than you were ignored. Oh well, I do apologize if you feel ignored. Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of different things we could do. I mean, you can tell me what you want me to do first tonight, really, because there's so much to get done. I could do any of these things. Some will be more exciting to watch me do than others, let's face it. Let's face it. So yeah. The Doctor Who channel said that they wish they had one. This one was built from scratch. You can do it. Anyone can do it, honestly. It takes some effort, but you can do it. And Doctor Who channel, I love Doctor Who, so yeah, I've been a Doctor Who fan for my whole life. So welcome, it's good to have you here on the channel. So yeah, if you've got any things that you'd like to see done, let me know. So Moped says, as far as I can tell, using Gen 2 legless elbows. Yeah, these are actually 3D printed. I 3D printed these myself, and actually I don't think they came out too badly. I think they look all right. They obviously need some weathering. Sanding them and making them look non-layer lined did not work perfectly, but because I'm trying to age this pack down, I'm gonna hopefully get away with it. I think I got away with this one pretty well. It's not fully aged yet, but it's looking pretty good, as far as I can tell at least. Let's see. Francisco stepped out for sex, but did the rust weathering hack. Yes, that's awesome. Yeah, I did mention it when you were stepped out, and it is the Adam Savage trick. It's a very, very good trick. Oh, Mopip's printed theirs too, but did the Gen 1. Yeah, I think mine are the Gen 2. I have a bit of a mix of the different models in my file set. So this is actually, most of this is the QPAC V3 and a bit of the QPAC V4 mixed together. Doctor Who channel, yes, fellow fan, let's go. I'm watching Frozen Empire with my partner for the first time tomorrow. So excited. Awesome, enjoy it. It's great. And if you're new here, I haven't seen you before, so I have a special features video on my channel of the making of Frozen Empire. I was actually there in New York, and I got to see the filming, and so I've got lots of exclusive footage of the filming they did on the street. So obviously watch the movie first, but then you can check out those videos, drop a sub, and obviously you'll find access to all that stuff. But yes, fellow Dr. Han, Doctor Who, Dr. Han, I'm already tired and we've only just started live streaming. This is troubling and problematic. Anyway, awesome. So, yeah, and Mo, tell me in chat what process you used for connecting your legless elbows to the pack, because trying to connect them from inside sometimes is so incredibly problematic. So I'd love to know. I have a few thoughts on what I'm going to do, and it's going to be fine. They're probably not going to be very removable, but that's good because I want them to kind of stay in place, because they're, like many things on a Proton pack, easy to break. Doctor Who channel said, yes, saw the video, amazing to see the Ecto 1 back on the streets of New York City. It was, and thank you for watching the video. I super appreciate it. Francisco Silva, oh, my favorite classic Doctor Who. Well, I'm a fan of Peter Davidson. I liked him as the Doctor. I guess he was my Doctor that I remember the most. So real fan of him. I liked Earthshock. That was a very, very cool story. Earthshock was good. And the caves of, oh, what are they called now? I've forgotten the name, but the caves of Androzoni. I think that's what they're called. That's the final story for Peter Davison. Very, very good, very well written story. So yeah, those are my classics, my classic Doctor Who's that I like. Mopits, I haven't done that yet. Don't have time to work on my pack right now. It's exam season. You did say that. Yes, you did say that. So I'll tell you what I thought of. So in the pack design, and if anyone's wondering what we're talking about, these legless elbows are these little connectors here. They're actually kind of part of pneumatic systems. And these are 3D printed versions, and they connect to the pack in various positions and then run into other areas. So these are the right two connectors for this cable. The cable is too long, but you will get the impression. Let me just move the camera a little bit closer here. So what you'll see is that here on the top here, there's two places for these to come out here, and then another one's going to come out there. And there's a hole, but obviously this is already glued on, so I can't get into there. So actually what I was thinking of doing, as I drop my other cables out here, was putting some very thick wire in here that would run into the inside of there, just the right height, that would hold it in place, and then using an epoxy to hold it in place, a 5-minute epoxy, just to stick it. I know my hand's in the way, but just to stick it in the right location. That was my plan. Now, if you guys have got better thoughts on how to do this, because obviously I can't screw into here. I did try putting a screw in, cutting the top off and then screwing onto it, but obviously the screw turns in the hole. so that doesn't work either. So yeah, I'm interested in thoughts on the best way to do that, or how other people may have done that if you've built a pack. And even if you haven't, you might have some amazing idea for how to do it. Sven, welcome. Welcome. Doctor Who channel, how long have you been working on the pack? I've been working on it for longer than I should have done, really, because I kind of took a break from doing it. But now Ghostbusters Day is coming up in New York City, so I'm going to be covering Ghostbusters Day in a week. It's a week Saturday, so expect some live streams from this channel from Ghostbusters Day celebration at the Firehouse in New York City. But my plan is to get this finished before that. And there's a lot of different pieces to this, to making this happen. So yeah. Yes, this is the work this is what's been happening. But I actually did a live Ghostbusters experience. It's another video I've still got to finish. We did it for Halloween here, and I built this pack then and used it in a more rudimentary fashion as a pack that was in pieces that needed to be fixed as the part of the participants that came through. So yeah, so that's how I've been working on it for too long. Right. Here's what I might start with, because this is one of the easy aesthetic things I need to fix. This is my bag of goodies, by the way. I went to Ace Hardware and got myself more epoxy, because you always need more epoxy. You guys know I'm a fan of epoxy. Super glue also is a very helpful and useful thing. And then I bought the wire that I just spoke about. So this wire here is the wire I was thinking of using as a kind of bit of structure to hold things together. And then, just one thing that's missing on the front here. So if you're familiar with Proton packs, you'll know that this thing is called the bellows, and there's a, whoops, timber, there goes the pack. But there's a screw like this that goes right in the center of here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut a hole big enough, I think, for this to go in, and then I'm gonna screw this in, which will help finish the look and feel of that. So let's start there, because that's an easy thing that I can do. And I just, while I'm off camera, so you know what I'm doing, is I'm just finding the right sized drill bit for this screw. Okay. Now here's the other challenge with anything like this, is making sure that you get this thing central when you drill it, because you do not want to make a mess of it. So here we go, I'm gonna move this camera down here. So luckily there is a little hole there already to start me off. Okay. I'm gonna go very gentle on this, because I don't want to wreck this at this stage, obviously. And if you've ever drilled a 3D print before, you know there's kind of two stages to this. There's getting through the exterior, and then you drop into the material inside. And there's a lot of air in there, in the fill. And I was wondering for a second why this is colored kind of gray coming out of here, but that's because I printed this with silver filament. There we go. That's the moment that it's going to drop down. Now let's see if I can see this. Okay, I think I might need to make this hole slightly bigger, because it's big enough for the center, but it's not quite big enough. Quite big enough for drill bit. Jadil, hello. Yes, I do remember you. Is your friend here? I do not know. I do not know. Doctor Who channel says that working on a Ghostbusters costume for Comic-Con coming up soon. And I found someone on eBay who makes custom name patches and got one for me and my mate. And they're being shipped out. So happy. That's awesome. That's great. Which Comic-Con are you going to? Do you mind me asking? Which one it's going to be? Right, let's see. Okay. I think if I'm really... just feel like it needs a little bit more space. Crazy. I'm going to do this next hole, and what we're going to find is that I've gone too big. But that's what glue is for, folks. That is what glue is for. Let's see. Okay. There we go. Mofips is saying, and then you have to pray that you don't break the infill. Yes, in a way that rattles around inside. Yes, you're exactly right. That's exactly what I was talking about. And if anyone's not 3D printed before, when you work with this stuff, obviously the outside is solid, but the inside of a 3D print is kind of like a matrix, a honeycomb is probably the simplest way of describing it. And so it can be really easy to make a mess of that if you're not careful. But I think I've got this just about the right size. And now what I'm going to try and do, try being the operative word here, is screw this in reasonably straight and not break the 3D print. Alistair, welcome. That looks sick. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Doctor Who Channel says, it's one in my hometown of Falkirk. That's cool. Small, but it's a con none the least. That's awesome. Well, enjoy that. I'm sure that will be super fun. Any kind of Comic-Con's good. I've been to small and large Comic-Cons, and the great thing is meeting your people there, which is super fun. Right, there we go. I'm quite pleased with that. I think that's come out pretty well. Obviously, it needs aging a bit to make it fit in, but I'm quite pleased. That looks exactly the way I want it to look. That was an easy fix. We got that done quickly. Excellent. Let's see, what else are people saying? Alistair, for that I subscribe. Thanks, Alistair. That's super kind of you. Thank you. And you'll find a bunch of other stuff on my channel like this, building stuff and you know, generally being a geek. That's what this channel's all about. But thanks, Alistair. I appreciate it. Jadil is going on their way, hoping that their friend is going to be here on another live, but I don't know when that will happen. Soy is saying, am I the guy from Fortnite? I don't think so. I don't think so. Which guy from Fortnite? A character in Fortnite? A player of Fortnite? Tell me more. Tell me more. Right. So, here's one of the other things we can look at tonight. That was a nice little visual thing that I was able to get done quickly. I'm going to, if I can find the right packet of stuff, because I bought so much stuff from my Proton pack lately, I'm kind of almost losing track of all the pieces I purchased. Ah, here we go. So what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to put these strain relief pieces on this part of the pack here. And based on what I can tell, they go right there like that. And I think it's a red cable first, like this. And then it's a blue cable second. And what I'm thinking of doing for this is, again, because I can't really get inside these tubes anytime soon, I'm thinking that what I'll do is I'll have to put an epoxy on here and glue this in place. So I think that's what I'll probably try and do right now with this one. And then also I noticed, I was looking at some of the pictures, there's also strain relief here where it goes into this section. So there's some work to do on that for me as well. Dr. Who Channel says that Proton pack is so accurate. I'm genuinely so impressed by how people can do this. I'm tempted to try. Do it! Do it. This is a 3D printed version of the Q pack, and there's different versions of the Q pack. This is, I said earlier, a mix of version 3 and 4. You can do it, you know, just go for it. This is by far the biggest thing I've ever 3D printed. Obviously it wasn't printed as one piece, it was printed in pieces and put together. But yeah, and Dr. Who Channel, I will add a full set of, you know, steps of the steps I went through to build this pack as a long form video eventually, as soon as I get round to it. Mo is saying, just looking at the pack right now, and it's mostly GBT with the crank knob. Yep, that's true. And GB1 and the PDB switch from Afterlife, real custom pack. Yes, it is a mix. I am 100% doing my own thing. I am 100% doing my own thing, and definitely this strain relief is definitely an Afterlife look. This switch, which is just out of shot here, but the switch here, this is This is definitely an afterlife switch as well. I'm just mixing it up. I'm putting the stuff on here that I want to. So yeah, and I love the fact that you see a lot of custom builds of packs, and I really enjoy seeing what people have done to them. Mo's saying, yeah, the strain relief, yeah, definitely from Afterlife as well. There's even strain relief here on this piece, and I was just trying to figure out how to carefully cut this so it's at an angle. I was looking at some of Adam Savage's stills of basically capturing all the great shots of the Afterlife pack, and I was looking at that for a lot of reference. So yes, my inspiration is coming a lot from there. Gavin, you're back. Welcome back. Right, I think it's time to mix up some epoxy. I think let's not wait anymore. Let's do this. So it's latex glove time and a mixing tub. Here we go. Right, these are the bits we need. So those of you that have been here before know how this goes. I'm sure you've used epoxy before. If you haven't used epoxy before, it's a mixture of two chemicals that you mix together. And when they mix together, they harden quite quickly because those chemicals have a heat reaction to them. And I think you can see there's two syringes here. I think I've got just about enough for this job. So, but you want to put gloves on first, because otherwise it's hard to get off your fingers. To be blunt, it's difficult to get off your fingers. Doctor Who channel saying this would be great to own, but the top Ghostbusters item to own is the Ecto, which I'd love to just barrel down the road with the siren blaring. Totally true. I can't even, yes, exactly. That is totally right. And Doctor Who channel, I don't know if you see my video, and this is not me flexing, this is me telling. I did actually get the chance to do that. So I have a video where me and my family rode in my buddy Nick's Ecto through the streets of New York. I was dressed as a Ghostbuster. We went to Dana Barrett's apartment. We went to the New York Public Library, and we ended up at the firehouse, and it was by far one of the coolest things I've ever done in my life. It was the most amazing thing. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. You will see my face red with excitement the whole time. The great thing is that Nick actually offers tours. So now if you really want to do that and you want to get the experience of being in the Ecto in New York City, check out Ecto1_NJ on Instagram. You can book a tour. You literally can book a tour in the Ecto and get to do that. So yeah. Mo's saying, love the packs and have some extra pieces like tanks and stuff. Always so cool to see someone doing their own thing. I agree with you. I like the ones that are kind of like the video game with the slime pieces mixed in. I think those are awesome. Justin, hi Justin, is asking, where did you get the files for the pack? I went to, so if you search for Taco Belly or Proton Pack Q, the Q Pack, Proton Pack Q Pack files, search on the internet and you'll find a bunch of different places where you can get that. It's in one location, but there's a bunch of sites that will reference it. And there's also a Facebook group on Facebook, Ghostbusters 3D printing group. And that group's a great place to start if you want to start looking at 3D printing your own pack. I would highly recommend that group. They're an awesome group of folks, super helpful, wonderful community, all sorts of experiences in building their packs, super fun. So I would 100% check that out. Doctor Who channel said they have seen the video and they're very jealous. I'm sorry, that wasn't my plan to make you feel jealous, but it was cool. It was cool. Literally, I think I say in the video that my my childhood self would have died. Anyway, let's mix up some epoxy. Let's get this thing going and get some building happening. Right, so this is probably the last, like I said, probably the last of this epoxy here in this pack. I'm just gonna, oh, maybe there's enough for a little bit more, so we shall see. Right, and again, if you're new to epoxy, if you're not, and you see me do this 100 times, I apologize, but you then mix the two pieces together and they create a great heat reaction, and that heat reaction is what causes everything to harden. Now this epoxy actually is, it's interesting. I mixed some stuff up, did some epoxy yesterday for something else completely different. I was helping my daughter with a 3D print build that she needed for school. and we built it, and it was all looking good, and then a piece dropped off. So we used some epoxy to help pull that back together, to put it back together, I should say. So yeah, that epoxy got hot quick, and so the better you mix it, the better it's going to kick, the quicker it's going to kick. And for something like this, where we want it to hold in place and kind of hold still pretty fast, we're going to want it to kick pretty hard, pretty fast. So I'm just going to keep giving this a good mix to make sure that everything is blended. And what I find, this is a clear epoxy, but what I find is it kind of goes this creamy color when you mix it together. It will obviously dry clear in the end, but if you put your hand underneath it, the epoxy, while you're mixing it, you will be able to feel the heat reaction when it starts to properly kick, and that's when you know that you're kind of in a good spot. So yeah, I'm just going to keep going with this for a bit, like I said, because I want to use it towards the end of the kick. He says, okay, yep, I can feel that getting nice and hot now in my hand. It's getting very, very warm, which is terrific. So here's what's going to happen now. I'm going to take this tube off. I'm going to put some epoxy around the end of it, like this. I'm going to put some in the hole here. Because what I'm trying to do is kind of create two things. I want the tube to stay in. And again, with anything like this, especially because this thing's laying on its side, I want to try and avoid epoxy dripping anywhere. And then I'm going to put a little bit around the edge here of the strain relief, right there. I'm going to just take that out because that was starting to drip. All right, and I'm going to put this in, and then I'm going to hold it in place there for a second. Now, I made the mistake here of not getting a clamp early enough in this process. Am I going to be able to clamp that in place? I don't think I am. Well, isn't that annoying? Come on, clamp, do your thing. No, that's not going to work, because what it's doing is it's pushing this. Right, okay. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to use some tape. I should have thought about this before. It's always good to think about how you're going to hold things in place before you glue them, isn't it? That would have been sensible. But no, too busy chatting to think about such things. So I'm going to use some tape here. Going to put that in place there, and I'm hoping, you know, the worst thing about wearing these gloves is that trying to use tape with them is a disaster. Okay, that's better. So, and also then what I'm thinking about is the other bit of epoxy here is going to start kicking. Look, it's already gone. So I'm going to have to mix up another batch. So I'm just going to hold this in place now because it's too late for me to stick the other piece with epoxy. I mixed it up so well that the time I spent to try and put the strain relief in place meant that it kicked almost immediately. So now it's the fun time of just holding this in place. This is fun YouTube, guys. You get to watch me hold something while literally you get to watch essentially paint dry. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty cool. So let me see if I can look at questions when without moving this. Let's see. Justin's asking what printer I use. I use a Solvo printer, a kind of bog standard, fairly cheap one. Mo Pips is asking, I really want to build a video game pack at one point, but I currently don't have the budget. It's hard to even fund my normal pack since I'm still at school. Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah, especially if you want to build like something super cool. The video game packs look so awesome. Yeah, I agree with that. Sorry, I'm just checking that I've got this strain relief basically central. I'm going to hang on to it for a bit longer. Gavin saying best content, thank you. Best content as I mess things up. Purple. Purple is saying, what is that? Hi, Purple. This is a Proton pack from Ghostbusters that I'm building. Doctor Who channel, small question, but where did you get the ghost traps And do you know anywhere I can get them for an affordable price? That is a fantastic question. I will get into that in a second. When I stopped holding this, I'll show you the traps and I'll talk a little bit about where we can get them from. But there is a video on my channel, again, you may have seen it. It's called Toy to Prop, and it's all about making taking a Spirit Halloween trap. And depending on where you're coming from, if you're in the US, Spirit Halloween traps are fairly easy to get hold of. So this is the Spirit Halloween trap mod that I did. And just so you know, when you first get the Spirit Halloween trap, I'm just keeping an eye on that glue. I don't want it to peel off. I think we're good, but I'm just keeping an eye open. So this is the bog standard Spirit Halloween trap. It's a pretty nice looking trap, to be honest. You know, its dimensions are good. It looks very similar to the one in the film. I think you can get this if you're based in Europe or somewhere else. You can get hold of this, but it's branded differently, I think. And then this is the version that I modded. I'm very proud of this. This is Adam Savage's signature on here. When I met him, he signed the trap. That was super fun. That's also a video on my channel. Subscribe if you want to find that video. And also, if you're liking what you see, hit the like button. It sends people from YouTube to this video so they can see it. But yeah, what I did with this was I laser cut some extra pieces on the top here. Let me turn this on a second while the glue's drying. I laser cut some additional pieces so it has these face plates like it does in the movie. And then I modified the back here so it has the connector and everything. And this version, if the batteries are still good, actually creates smoke. If I can get it to start smoking. Let's see if it's going to do it. I think the batteries have had their day here. Oh, there we go. Some smoke coming out, look. But yeah, that's and that's a mod. That's literally taking that trap. So you know, this was a mixture of these. This is wood here. This is wood on here as well. These are just little screws that I used for it. Again, just added these extra screws and pieces to make it look more like the trap. So I was able to take it from a toy, which is this. Do the comparison, a toy to something that looks a lot more realistic. And I have to say, it was so much fun to do. I loved doing this. It's been one of my favorite builds is doing this. I did this one, and then I have another one over here. Let's see if I can fit this in the background here. This one is the same design, so you see the same changes, but the inside is empty here because this was part of this trap actually opened. It has cabling. It's not plugged in at the moment. But what I did was I replaced this button system inside, and what I did was I added a servo in here. So these doors actually open and close with the servo, which was super fun to do. So yeah, really enjoyed doing that. And just like anything, you know, modding a toy is a great way to go if you want to try making a realistic thing. Yeah, Doctor Who Channel saying that was a fantastic video. Thank you very much, Doctor Who Channel. I appreciate it. I do have a PKE meter, Justin, and I probably in another live I'm going to work on changing that PKE meter into something that looks a little bit more like a real life thing. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Gavin saying, do you think you'll get the Lego Creator or Ideas Ecto 1 set? You know what? That might be something that happens around the holiday season, as we say here in America, because we have two holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas and Hanukkah, let me say it correctly, and a whole bunch of other holidays of that season. So yes, I think I probably will. Oh, look, this is good. Okay, so look at this, folks. The strain relief has worked. I'm really pleased with that. And I only wasted all of that. Did I show? I didn't even show you properly, did I? So I was talking about epoxy kicking fast. So that was the 5-minute epoxy, and my gosh, did that kick quickly. It really went for it. It was liquid, and then it is a solid instantly. And I've got so many of these in my trash with like a little bit of epoxy left and a lollipop stick just stuck inside it. So I'm going to have to mix up another one to do the second bit of strain relief here, but I'm really pleased with that. I'm pleased with how that looks and how it came out. So let's do the next one. Gavin says I got both sets. That's super cool, Gavin. Doctor Who channel says they have that set, didn't put the rust stickers on, and switched out the ladder round. Love the GB car. That's awesome. Justin's saying, after you're done with the pack, will there be another build? Yes, Justin, there will. I'm trying to figure out what the next build is going to be after this, because I'm hoping this will be done for Ghostbusters Day. So what I'll do is I'll finish this build on... I might even do a live stream midweek this week. We'll see how it goes with the finishing touches on the pack, or even like pulling my outfit together midweek before I go to Ghostbusters Day. Then what I'm probably going to do is... I've mentioned it on this channel before, but I was going to flip kind of tracks a little bit, and I want to build a xenomorph head from Alien, because the new Alien movie's coming out, and I'm really excited to model and create a xenomorph head with some animatronics in it. That's my plan. So that might be the next build, and then I might go back to something a bit simpler. I like to do some other Ghostbusters builds as well, so I'll probably do the PKE meter. Yeah, I'm just going to keep doing live builds. So whatever we've got, my plan is Friday nights or Saturdays, I'm always going to be doing live builds of something that's super geeky like this. That's my plan. So I hope that's satisfactory. Okay, so we're going to do this other pipe, which, as you know, goes in here like this. And I'm going to take another piece of this strain relief, exactly the same thing. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up some more epoxy. Yes, I am. So let me grab another one of these. And if you're ever using epoxy, you need plenty. You need certain things around to help you. So these little kind of containers are great. I just got these from Dollar Tree. That you can get a whole bunch at Dollar Tree. And then you can also buy these. I have a whole bunch of these in my workshop. So loads and loads of tongue depressors, as we call them in America, or lollipop sticks, as we'd call them in the United Kingdom. I have plenty of those around, because always mixing epoxy or something up. Now, based on what I just saw, I think this remaining epoxy is going to be enough. I'm just going to tilt this down a little bit more. Let me know if this shot's good, folks. I want to make sure you can see what I'm up to. If you need the angle change, you just shout out in the comments, and I'll try and pay attention while I'm doing this epoxy mix here. Now, this may be that there's not enough epoxy here, but let's try it. Oh, there is. There's going to be enough. There's just enough to do this job. That is perfect. All right, awesome. And that's kicked now. That's gone. That epoxy's out of service. It's done me well. So, gonna mix this up again. And as you saw before, you have to go quick. This is a 5-minute epoxy. The key, of course, to it kicking in 5 minutes, and by kicking, what I mean is it's gonna go hard. There's gonna be an exothermic reaction, which means it's gonna get super warm, which is gonna make the two chemicals I'm mixing together go solid. And then whatever they're touching is gonna be stuck to that thing. So, but the key here is to do a really, really good mix, to mix this up, which is, and this is the challenge with epoxy. Sometimes, obviously, you need enough in the tub here to mix it properly, which is always a challenging thing. Let's see, while I'm mixing this, let's see who else is saying stuff. Gavin's saying, was thinking of getting the Creator set again, but make it to the Ecto 84. That's a good idea. Justin saying, hoping for a slime blower or a pack from the cartoon. Ooh, that's a nice idea. Slime blower, that would be a huge project, wouldn't it? Joanna's saying, it's so awesome. My little 4-year-old is loving Ghostbusters right now. This is so awesome. I'm so glad that your child is loving Ghostbusters. It's a great thing to love. It's a really fun universe. Mo is saying, going to bed now. It's 2 a.m. Thanks for joining, Mo. Good night. Good luck with exam season. I hope that everything goes well. Gavin's saying, do you think you'll ever do an RGB pack? I don't know if I will. I might do. I really like the RGB, and for people who think that that's code, Real Ghostbusters, if you're not a huge Ghostbusters fan, is the cartoon. I like the cartoon trap. That would be something fun to make. I don't know if there's anything out there to build that. And then this is getting hot now, so I'm going to have to move quickly. The Doctor Who channel is saying, how effective is epoxy? I've never actually used it, or is it heard much about it. It's really great. It's great for these kind of things where you need it to glue fast, as long as you're working in this kind of a workflow where you're going quickly. Right, speaking of which, this is where I'm going to just have to focus my attention. Okay, so the epoxy's warm. I'm going to take a bit and I'm going to, again, put it into this tube like that. I'm going to put a little bit around here on this. And then what I'm going to do, oh, drippage is happening. Got to avoid the drippage. Then I'm going to take this pipe, put the pipe through here. I'm going to put a little bit more epoxy around the pipe and make sure there's some around here, around the hole here. And the thing with this strain relief, you probably can't see it, but there's little perforations around the edge, which is great. So the epoxy will stick in it, which is terrific. But what you're always trying to avoid is overspill when you put the pieces together. All right, oh, speaking of which, that epoxy really wants to run, really does. All right, let's do this thing. In it goes. It's going in, and then I am pushing it in place. Okay, now, as you will remember before, I just had to hold it in place because that was the best way to do it. So that's what I'm going to do in this instance. I'm just going to hold it there until it dries. And like I said, this is a 5-minute epoxy, so it's supposed to start to kick and go hard in 5 minutes, as long as I mixed it well. Sometimes if you don't mix it properly, you'll find that it doesn't kick as quickly, because obviously the two chemicals, they are not mixing together in as good a way. So that's always the challenge with anything like this, is that it's like most things, right? The outcome's as good as the effort you put in. And if you put the right amount of effort in and have the right technique, and you know, it's like anything with crafting or building or making, you're always going to screw up. I mean, I literally screwed up earlier on the live. My epoxy hardened. I wasn't paying attention. I didn't have anything to hold my strain relief in place, and that meant that, guess what? It didn't. All right, so that is still wet right now. So yeah, I'm gonna have to hold this in place for a while. So let's go back to the chat. Let's see, what else are you saying? Doctor Who Channel saying, how effective is epoxy? I think I answered that. The worst part about being in Scotland is that the Spirit Halloween Proton is so expensive to get here. Yeah, that is a challenge. I know you can order it from the Spirit Halloween website to Scotland. But yes, that can be problematic. The cost of getting things over to Scotland. One of the things I did notice when I moved here to the US was that the easy availability of things differs. And I'm not saying that we can't get hold of stuff in the United Kingdom. We can, but it just seems that things are more ubiquitous, more available than they are here, than they are there. So yes. Well, I mean, Doctor Who Channel, just, you know, do it. Buy a get a 3D printer. You can buy one of those, and you see, I thought that was stuck, and it was not stuck. Welcome to the paint drying channel. We hope you enjoy views of Matt Daniels holding his hands on a proton pack while epoxy hardens. This is the funnest viewing out there on YouTube. I did say, didn't I, when I started this, that some of this will be more fun to watch than others. So yeah, and what has happened here? So this epoxy is kicked again. But what's interesting is that when it has more volume here in the container, the exothermic reaction can happen more quickly than when there's a thin layer of it here. So what I have to avoid the temptation of doing is just letting go and going, oh yeah, I'm done. It's all fine. It's all good. It's so funny as well, isn't it? I'm just looking at the amount of viewers on the channel right now. Like, we were up to like 60 or so. The minute I do something boring like this, people flick away on their feed, which I don't blame them. So let's see, is that going to be dry? I'm going to keep an eye on it. Let's take a look, folks. Let's have a look. I'm going to move the camera in so you can see what I've been doing. So that now is the strain relief in place here. And I don't want to get too aggressive with this, but I would like to say I think we're in a pretty good spot. I'm really pleased with that. I think that's come out really well. I'm going to leave it for a bit. It's holding its own now, but I'm going to leave it a bit longer. And then we can move on to the next part. Woo! That was fun. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. Yes, it was. It's good. Let's get back to some questions. I love the fact that this is my workshop iPad and it gets more and more messy every time I use it. I shouldn't really be holding it with epoxy covered gloves, should I? Let's see, what are people saying here? Doctor Who channel saying paint drying YouTube channels where the where the real views are at. Yep, there you go. Aaron Holmes, dope. Thank you, Aaron. Welcome. Gavin's still here. Thank you, Gavin, for hanging in there. Aaron's asking how heavy is it? That's a really good question. So I don't know exactly the weight at this point, but I will lift it a little bit. So right now, I don't have an exact weight for you, but it's quite reasonable at the moment. But where it's going to start getting heavy is when I put, I'm going to put this battery pack in, which is not light, which is going to power the sound effects that you can hear in the background. Actually, that powering down sound sounded a little bit more like the beginning of a Doctor Who episode. And then powering up. There you go. So it's going to hold this, and then the other parts to the pack that are going to be included is stuff like this. So this is what we call the motherboard, which is the bit that sits on the back that will basically hold the pack in place. This is a bit of very good plywood. It's very strong, and I will paint it on the edges to make it look more like metal. And then there's going to be a couple of things that I need to do here, like access for the battery power, and I'm going to probably put my speakers here and here, facing outwards, so they'll be kind of at my back. That's the plan. So when all of that's together, I'll weigh it properly for you and let you know. The Spirit Halloween pack, which I actually have over here, you can see it in the back of my workshop here. This is the Spirit Halloween pack, which is, comes looking like this. I've done some modifications to it. But this pack is very light. That's in fact one of the best parts about it. Hang on, I'm gonna move my drill out of the way, because I always find that when I pick the Spirit pack up, this pipe on it gets a little bit unwieldy and starts to knock things around and knock things off. So this is the Spirit Halloween pack. Let me move this camera around here like this. And you can obviously see some distinct differences between this pack and the one I'm building. So first of all, I would say is that if you're interested in a starter level pack and you've got the money and you don't live in Scotland, sorry, Doctor Who channel, this is a good place to start because you can get it in the United States for about $250 to $300. It has a really good light kit. Look, I really love the cyclotron on this, the fading between different sides. I think it's really, really nice. And I've done a few modifications on it, so I've done the kind of army tape wrapping here and a few other bits and pieces. And what I am actually going to do in the future is I'm going to upgrade a few parts of this to make it look more accurate, because this ribbon cable is not accurate. Needs a different ribbon cable, which I have actually just out of shot here. I will replace it with this ribbon cable. That's what I will do. But the other big differences with this, some things I don't like about it, even though this is super cool, is the sound. You can see the speaker area here with these holes drilled right in the back of the cyclotron. Not my favorite feature. The other thing is that this bumper, which is the piece that goes over the cyclotron, is not hollow underneath. So it's like one complete piece. And if you go back to, see if this will just stay in place. If you look at the pack that I'm building, let's bring the camera over here so you can see. Obviously, you can see that the bumper is not solid. So it's something, sorry to whip you around like that. Hopefully I haven't given you motion sickness by doing so. But yeah, so that's it. But yeah, a lot to like with the Spirit pack. Doctor Who channel saying, yeah, haha, it did sound like it. It really did sound like the beginning. I'll do it again. There we go. That's probably as much as I can sing without getting a copyright strike. Let's see. What else are people saying? Aaron saying, great show. I will say so myself. Do it. Yes. Yes. Jadil's still looking for their friend. I don't think so, Jadil. I don't think your friend is here. Sorry, Jadil. Aaron is liking it. And Doctor Who Channel saying, in your opinion, would you say the Spirit Halloween pack is worth the price? I think it is. And I'll tell you why. Having built a pack from scratch requires a lot. And by the way, I'm not trying to put you off building your own pack. I think it's a really great thing to do. But it's what? How do I say? It's not for the faint-hearted. And so, you know, you're going to put a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of energy into this. The Spirit pack, if you want something that has the same size, shape, and feel of a Proton pack, I wore that pack out for Halloween in my town with my Ghostbusters flight suit, and people went nuts for it. They thought it was absolutely awesome. In fact, I had a lot of fun. I had my trap, this trap that smokes. I had this with me, smoking. And then everybody in the neighborhood that was dressed as a ghost, I went and chased them, basically. I said, I'm like, you better be careful, I'm going to trap you. And it was, I mean, that sounds kind of weird, but it was really fun. Everyone thought it was really funny. And parents were like tapping their kids on their children going, watch out, the Ghostbusters are here, you need to get out of here. And actually my wife was dressed as a ghost, so I kind of chased her around the street dressed as a Ghostbuster. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, is the Spirit Halloween pack worth it? It is. And I have two versions of the pack. I have the full size, which is the one I just showed you guys, the one behind me here. And then I have the 80% version as well. I think it's really good. And actually, Doctor Who Channel, if you've got any other questions about the pack and you want to see anything on the pack, got it right here. Ask them in the chat and I'll show you whatever you want. Because making investments and buying things is a big deal, especially if you don't really know what it's like or you haven't seen one. So if there's anything I can help tell you more about it that will help you make that decision, just let me know. Happy to do so. And welcome new folks. Anyone here that's new, it's good to have you here. We're building Ghostbusters props. I've just been showing this because I've been taking a break, letting some glue dry is what I was about to say. You missed the amazing and awesome exercise earlier of literally watching glue dry is what we were doing on the channel. And if you're new here and you're just checking in, say hi. Just say hi and chat. It's good to have you here. We love chatting and answering questions and making stuff together. That's what this channel is about. So let's get back to the pack. I'm pretty pleased with this. I think right now what we can see is we've got both of those pieces of strain relief in a good position. Now we're going to want these to stick out a little bit like this. We don't want them to be completely flush. So what I'm going to do is I am going to chop these off. This is going to be slightly scarier. Scary. I don't know what's going to be scarier than. Slightly scary. So I'm going to get my scissors here. And I just want to see how much space there is in that hole. So let's see, what have we got here? We have got in metric, that's about 1 centimeter. And I'm going to say that's 3/8 of an inch if you're from America. So let's cut these. You know what's always good to cut them longer than you need them. So this is probably going to be a little bit too long. But there we go. All right, they're cut. And I'm going to put those in there. Yes, and they probably are a little bit too long right now. I'm going to look at some reference photos to double check, but that's fine. I'd rather have them longer than shorter. And I always love this. This is the most hilarious thing ever. You put your iPad down with the magnets on it, and look, both my drill bits, it's picked them up. The amount of times that I've like sat on the sofa and tried to watch something on my iPad and random magnetic objects have dropped out of my iPad because I use this in my workshop all the time is countless. It is a countless number. What I was trying to do was get to this great photography here. Don't worry about me. Don't look at me there. This is some great reference material from Adam Savage's channel. And so just looking at the strain relief here, this example, if you look at it here, look, it's showing you how it comes around the side. I think mine's a little bit too long right now, but that's okay. That's okay. I can shorten it down. And then the other thing that I've noticed is that they do have what looks like very similar strain relief. You see that on the bottom? But I don't think it's as long. So these things that I've been using here to do the strain relief with, let's pull that out. It's not as long as that, because if you look closely, get the camera in here closely for you guys to see, obviously the base of the strain relief there is far too fat to fit on that little ledge. So I think what they've done is they've cut it down to kind of here, to put it on the other end. So I think that's what I'll probably experiment with doing. And luckily, I've bought a bunch of these. I've got a bag of them. So if I mess it up, I'll mess it up. But yeah, so I think what we're going to at least do is take the strain relief off to that point. So what am I going to use for that? I think what I will use for this is I will use what we call in England a Stanley knife. Here we call it an X-Acto blade or something else, depending. Ah, now that doesn't want to cut. That's interesting. So I think, oh, it did cut. The only problem is now I've cut that, look, it's not a very clean finish, but let's see if that is broadly, that looks better. That looks much more like the reference material. Here, come closer and see. Oops, you're on a tripod here, so see how that looks? That looks a lot more like it. I just need to take a little bit off this cable, but I'm quite pleased with that. So I think we have two that look like that. We're in business here with the Proton pack. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. Looks good. So let's do the other one. Hopefully I won't waste too many of these. It's good to see that that's what's happening. Okay, so camera, come up here a little bit closer. There we go. I'm going to tip you down like this. And let's cut the other one off. Boom. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing. Place this in here. I'm not going to glue them today, but I'm just going to leave them in place. But gosh, I'm pleased with that. That's very satisfying. Look at that. I'm going to take these gloves off because I'm not using the epoxy anymore. I might put them on again when we do use it again. I'll just leave them over here. Put my blade away to be safe. And I'm going to take the camera off here and give you a closer look at this. Let me just switch that round for you. Okay, so this is what we've done. So we've got this strain relief's looking really good. I'm really pleased with this. So if you remember, this was stuck with epoxy earlier. And then we did these two pieces here. These have to be stuck in. And as you can tell, that's just a little bit too long for my liking. I think we need to take, I don't know, 1.5 centimeters off there. Maybe 2/3 of an inch. Okay, so anyway, I'm really, really pleased with that. Very, very pleased. Right, let me come back to the questions in chat. Let's answer some questions, and then I'll get on with the next step of the build. So I'm going to stand this up, put it here. There we go. Come on. The problem with this pack is any object with a round base is going to fall. That's not a good thing. Right. Let's go to questions. Let's go back and see what questions we've got on here. Okay. What are people saying? Let's just catch up. Sorry, I'm a little bit behind here. Cool. Okay. Doctor Who channel is asking, sorry, silent there, just reading through, if they can hear the sounds on the Spirit Pack. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So, the Spirit Pack has a couple of very simple sounds. The control for everything is on here. So, so that's the power down. So when I power it up, that's the sound. And it makes kind of a humming sound for a bit, and then it dies away. The other really good thing I like about this, so I've also played with the HasLab pack, which is a great pack, by the way. But one of the things with the HasLab pack is that the lights don't stay on, they go off. Whereas with this pack, you can leave this thing on forever. I accidentally left it on when I went out earlier. It was just on the desk, and it will stay on. I've left it on overnight, the batteries haven't run out. I think I've replaced the batteries in this one time since I got it, and I got it in September of last year. So I think that's really good. And then the power off sound, obviously, you heard earlier. Hang on, let me just find the right button here to press. Where am I going? Where am I going? Trying to keep things in frame and press the buttons at the same time. Never easy. So that's the power off sound. And then it also has the sound of the thrower. And you'll notice that works whether the pack's turned on or off. So it works in both configurations. But yeah, in fact, one of my favorite parts about the pack is the lighting kit on it. It's a really good lighting kit, and the sounds are not actually too quiet, considering that it's just got that little speaker on it. But I do like it. I'm a fan of it. So hopefully, Doctor Who Channel, that answered your question for you, and Aaron as well. Nerd affiliated, hey dude, what's up, man? It's good to see you. Thanks for joining. Stuart Ward, hi, did I print the main body? Yes, so the pack that you can see behind you here, the one that we've been working on the channel, yes, every single part of this that you see, other than the piping, obviously, I printed on my 3D printer. Yes, I did. Looks like you're going to rough it up. I am. Yes, I need to rough up lots of things on the pack still. There's lots to do with it. Whoops. Please don't fall over and smash into 1,000 pieces. Ravi is asking, what is it? It's a Proton pack from Ghostbusters. That's what we're building here on the channel. Fansu Chung, I think that's how you say your name. Hopefully I said it correctly. Ghostbusters indeed. And Ravi saying, oh, okay. Stuart Ward, hello Stuart. What's the best pack in your opinion? Value and quality? Oh, that is a really good question. I think price and value, the Spirit full-size pack, I think is great. HasLab pack is hard to get hold of. It's very expensive. And for me, I really like the HasLab pack, but I like the idea of being able to modify my own pack, and that's exactly why I built my own from scratch. So remember that when I tell you my opinion, because it's obviously biased based on that kind of experience that I'm looking for. I think if you want just something that does everything, that's like kind of almost the perfect adult style toy, then I would say that the HasLab takes the prize because it's a really amazing pack. But there are a few things on it that I want to perfect, and you'll see people on YouTube that have taken the HasLab pack apart and they've perfected it. The HasLab pack is so good, they used it in Frozen Empire. So the pack that Phoebe wears on her back, and I apologize, hopefully this is not too spoilery, but there's a scene in the movie where she opens up the pack and she makes some changes in the pack. I'm trying to keep it spoiler free if you haven't seen it. And then she wears that pack with an open cyclotron. That is a HasLab pack. They just literally took the HasLab pack and made the mods to it, which is kind of amazing. So I think value for money, the Spirit full size, kind of perfection from an experience toy point of view, the HasLab, perfect experience from building your own thing, 3D print. If you want to go through the experience of crafting your own personalized pack from scratch, 3D printing would be the way to go, in my opinion. Doctor Who Channel, no wonder it lasts ages. It has a half-life of 5,000 years. It does, that's true. It does have a half-life of 5,000 years. Demetrius, hi Demetrius, saying the Proton pack looks dope. Thank you very, very much. It's definitely coming on. Doctor Who Channel says they're loving the sounds, and thank you very much. You're very welcome. You're very, very welcome. Gavin's saying, want to make a holder or stand for the Spirit pack. I need to make a holder or stand for all of these. If you watch Adam Savage work on his pack in his workshop, the first step, or at least one of the early steps he went through, was to make something to hold it so it wouldn't keep falling over like mine is. So he was smart, much smarter than me. I got the joke, Dr. Channel. I got the joke. You're good. Stuart Ward, estimated build time, also from the UK. Hi, Stuart. Welcome from the UK. Love a buddy from the UK. We got a few people on here from the UK. Dr. Channel's from Scotland. So awesome to have. It's late for you folks. It's late at night. Stuart, estimated total build time. That is a tough question because I've been building this in fits and starts for a while. I think that if you committed to it, then I think you could get all the pieces printed in a couple of weeks because the print time takes a while to print out. And then if you just kind of went for it, I think that you could do it in a few more weeks after that. And then it just depends. I mean, it's going to take you, depending on how much free time you've got, right? If you're doing it part-time like I am, then it's going to take you at least a month or two, probably. If you can commit like a whole solid, if you can print it and then spend like a solid week or two on just working on it, you could probably, and again, I've not done this before, so I'm assuming you haven't either, which is why you're asking the question, but I'm assuming people that have done this multiple times, they know all the, literally I just spent ages on this channel literally talking about how to go about putting these on because I didn't know. I'd not done it before, and so I think that that's kind of part of the conversation. But yeah, so sorry that's not a very accurate number for you, but hopefully that's helpful. Gavin saying the doctor I got the joke. Tesserex from the UK to Birmingham. Gotta love Birmingham. When I lived in the UK, I didn't live very far from Birmingham. So yeah, we got the UK gang going on here. It was also late. Yeah, it's 1:40 for you guys in the UK. Hey, well, I mean, I just appreciate the fact that you see that it's valuable enough at this late hour in the United Kingdom to join me while I build a proton pack. I can't even I really appreciate it. I say this on the channel lots, and doing it at a different time, we sometimes have different groups of people come, but a lot of the folks that you see on this channel that are chatting are people that have been here a lot before. Like Gavin has been here and others, Nerd Affiliated, Jadeel. Just really appreciate it, guys. Super appreciate you choosing to hang out with me and do this, and that you find glue drying interesting enough to spend your early Saturday morning with me while you're doing this. Stuart's asking, were you tempted to put a more powerful speaker in, a woofer? And you're a night owl, I can tell. I have been tempted for that very, very thing. Yes, and I have got all the kit literally upstairs outside of my workshop. Got a whole electronics build. So I've actually got a preamp that I'm going to connect to this. Oh, sorry, that's out of shot. I'm going to connect to the crank handle so that you've got a volume control on the preamp to change the volume. And then I'm going to stick both the speakers in the back of the motherboard. So where did I put the motherboard? It's over there, but you know what the motherboard is. It's a bit that sticks on the back. I'm going to have some more powerful speakers because I want that thing to be loud. And I also was thinking of adding one of those motors that makes the whole thing vibrate, so that when you kick that thing off, it feels like this thing's lighting up with power. That's the plan. That's the plan, Stuart. Demetrius, don't know if I asked this question, but the end of Frozen Empire, where the truck driver stops to get a snack and the mini Stay Puft stole the truck, is there going to be another Ghostbusters movie? So my understanding from what I hear in the Ghostbusters community, and from a couple of interviews that Gil and Jason have given, Gil and Jason, if you don't know, are the co-writers and have both directed one of the newer movies together. They have a plan. They have a plan for where this goes next. So I really hope there's another movie. I really want to see another one. And actually, it hasn't done too badly. So I think it's a hit over 200 million now in takings, which is, I think, at least going to mean that it's come home even. And again, I mean, streaming hasn't started officially yet. I know you can stream it as a purchase, but it hasn't, so I'm hoping that the movie continues to make money. And I enjoyed the premiere. It was super fun. It was a super fun time. So that's got a special place in my heart, that movie. Gavin's asking, next time you watch the 84 GB, look at Ray's pack. When they are at the Sedgwick, you can see the light where the blue lights are. Yes, you mean from the side. You can see the light coming through the side of here. Like, yeah, I know what you, yeah, I've seen that. It's glowing brightly enough that it's actually glowing through the side of the material that the pack's made from. Doctor Who channel, of course it's valuable, it's awesome, and I live supporting people who love and share their interests. Thank you, I super appreciate that. Thank you so much. Plus your channel has amazing content. Thank you, Doctor Who channel, I super appreciate that. That means a lot to me, thank you so much. Also, do you do your own narration? Let me start that again. Gavin, also, do you do your own narration? I think you mean that in your videos. Yes, I do all my own narration on my videos. I write the script and then put the narration in. It's often my way of trying to wrap a story around what I'm saying, because sometimes I'm so into building something or looking at something that I don't think to talk about it because I'm in the moment. Yes, Stuart's saying, awesome plan. Yes, more movies to come and animation. You're right. Yeah, there is a new animated series. It's going to be on Netflix. Gil Kennan has told us that he's seen the artwork for it, but we just don't know yet what it is going to be like. Like they revived X-Men 97, they need to revive Real Ghostbusters or Extreme Ghostbusters. There's so much love for the Real Ghostbusters, and that's a lot of what you feel when you watch Frozen Empire. It really has a Real Ghostbusters kind of vibe to it. You even see the Real Ghostbusters toys in part of the kind of opening sequence, which is super, super cool. Demetrius asking, does your ghost trap light up? It does, Demetrius. Let me show you. So this is my ghost trap that I built. I showed this a little earlier, but yes, it does light up. I replaced the switch on the spirit trap with this one. It lights up. And then my smoke machine in here is a little bit tired today. It's not quite giving me the smoke that I would be looking for typically. I don't know if you can see it starting. It's starting to get there. It's starting to get there, but yes. And when you open it, it does smoke. And there's the smoke coming out of it, and it lights up on the inside. It's very loud. The reason why the smoke isn't coming out, see this, look. My grill in here is not central. Let's fix that, folks. Let's see if that makes a difference to where the smoke will come out. Other than the batteries also needing to be replaced. Right, let's try this again. There we go. That's what's supposed to happen. Look, so there's the smoke coming out of the trap, look. Beautifully in the middle there. And the batteries are a little dead. I'm planning to put a smoker in the Proton pack. That's my plan. I want smoke to come out of this piece here, which the name of which escapes me. Somebody will tell me what the name of it is. Oh, Demetrius saying just, I was going to ask about the smoke. There you go. The question was answered. Let's see. Right. Hopefully we get some content shown on 8th of June. I hope so. They've got to release some stuff for Ghostbusters Day. Let's hope. I don't know if I asked this, but did you pre-order the movie? I didn't. You know what? I bought it on streaming immediately that it came out. But I do want to get it on Blu-ray as well, because I like actually having a physical copy of stuff. I like collecting films. I got a bunch of stuff on VHS that I'm collecting, and Laserdisc, and and Blu-ray. In fact, I just picked up. What did I pick up on? I picked up Aliens on Laserdisc recently. I had a good trip to the record and book store, which was really fun. They have a lot of those cool things. We've got a great store near us where we live that sell all this retro stuff. I love it. I love it. It's kind of like my I'll take a lunch break, drive out there and just look through all the stuff there. So yeah. So I answered Demetrius' question about the smoke. Doctor Who channel saying it's getting late, so you're gonna go. I'll join whenever you do the next live. Thank you, Doctor Who channel. It's super awesome having you here. Winston, hey bro, we are all waiting for the hairline reveal. I don't even know what. I don't know what you're talking about. You will have to elucidate me. Stuart saying, are your 3D plans available? Love the trap. Very cool. So Stuart, somebody asked me, and I was really remiss at getting back to them about this. I have got all the stuff. I'm going to create a place on the Experience Explorer's website where people can access plans for my builds. Because I was having a long conversation with the community about what they want. I was thinking about doing a membership, and some folks were like, "Oh, I'd love to do a membership, but I can't afford a membership," or "Yeah, I'd really like to sign up for a membership." And so, what I think that I'm still going to plan on doing is on the Experience Explorer's website, I'm going to have like micropayment things available. So like you can download the plans for 99 cents or something like that. And this video that's only on the members channel, you can buy it for, so if you just want to get that one thing, you can get it. And then on the subscription side on YouTube, you'll be able to access all the stuff. So that's what I'm planning on doing. It's just taken me so long to get around to it. I have a very busy life. I work full time in addition to doing this. So I wish I had more time to do all of these things. Demetrius Johnson, now the real question is, have you thought about having the inside of the trap light up as well? I have actually. I don't know if you saw it. It was lighting up a little bit, but not very brightly. So yeah, when you open it, you'll see there is some light in there. The lighting conditions aren't that good, but when it's dark, oh my gosh, it's so loud. When it's dark and the smoke's coming out, it does look very, very, very cool. Stuart Ward is saying, love Aliens. I love Aliens, Stuart, as well. As I said earlier, I'm going to definitely going to build an alien xenomorph head and another live. That is what I'm going to do. Right, back to work, folks. Back to work on this. So, I'm happy with this. I think the challenging thing is going to be now, so there's this cable that comes out of here and goes to here, which is blue again. So it's this one here. It goes in there, in that resistor, and then comes down and goes into here. Now, I still have more strain relief pieces left over like this. But what I'm going to have to do is, in order for this strain relief to fit in place, let me undo this, because we don't need that bit, and we don't need this bit, which is now stuck and won't come off. Of course it is. Going to have to cut this pipe at an angle and do a very similar thing to the thing that we kind of did before. That's what I'm going to need to do. So that angle, I have a thing for measuring angles. There we go. Right. I don't know if you got one of these, but these are super helpful. So if you're trying to measure an angle, you just kind of put this on the angle and it will give you the measurement of what that angle is. Super helpful. So let me see, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? I need to do it this way around. And of course it's in this tiny little slot here. So I think it's a 30-degree angle. So I'm going to have to cut this at 30 degrees, which is going to be challenging. That really is going to be challenging. Let me look at the reference material here. So let's see what we got going on here. I need to find, okay, so this is one of the shots of that here, and it's a little bit blurry, that shot, but what you can see is that the hexagonal part of the strain relief is definitely intact. This bit here is intact, and so I'm going to have to cut through that at an angle, which is going to be interesting. I don't think that that's going to be possible unless I do it with a hacksaw, because this is not easy stuff to cut. So I'm going to have to figure out. I definitely can't do it with a knife. Definitely cannot do it with a knife. So anyone out there that knows how to cut a 30-degree angle simply through this, I mean, if I had something like, if I had a disc sander, I could probably do it with that. I could just push it up against it, but I don't have that kind of stuff in my workshop. So I'm going to have to try and cut it, which is probably not the easiest thing to do. I love how I always choose the things that are almost impossible to achieve while I'm alive. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this Here we go, let's move the camera. I'm going to put this in the vise now. And I'm going to start the line of the cut that I need. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start a 30-degree angle line. I'm going to do it with a hacksaw blade like this. And I'm going to see if I can get... Let's see, holding that in place is going to be difficult. Am I in your way? Can you roughly see that? You can. Okay, so I'm going to start this cut. And this is not an easy thing to cut right here at all. That is not going well. Okay. Again, this would be much easier if I had a bandsaw or something of a similar nature. But again, I don't have that either in the workshop. What I did discover was a really awesome makerspace that's not far from me. I chatted with them about what I was trying to do. That might be the place for me to go. But yeah, if you're just arriving, I'm trying to cut through the strain relief piece, this grommet essentially, in order to give it a 30-degree angle so that I can put it on my Proton pack. Right, so I've made some progress here, as you can see, cutting through, because what it's got to do is it's got to fit on that, see that severe angle there? It's got to fit on that. That's what I'm trying to do right now. So, and like I was saying, if I had like a disc sander or something similar, that would be kind of an easy thing to do. But because I don't, it's making it a little bit more complicated. But here we go. We will keep persevering with the process that I have decided to adopt. And the other option might be, let me try this, hang on. I'm gonna move the camera here. One of the things, when you pick this tripod up, by the way, hello everyone. When I pick this tripod up, it sometimes twists and then it pops up a little bit and becomes bigger than I want it to become. Right, I'm gonna try freehand sawing this on here. Well, it's definitely going through, but I've now reached the thick part on the other side, and then now it's fighting me. So, I'm almost there. I'm almost there with this, almost. So I'm just going to keep going a bit, and then I might put this back in the vise and see if I can finish it off that way. But as I was saying, this is one of those things where you've got a limited amount of tools in your workshop. I'm not sure if you're like me. I have the things that I use most of the time, day to day. But there's a number of tools I wish I had access to that would do this much more easily. So like a disc sander, or a... I mean, anything would be easier than doing it this way. So, okay, I've got it to the point now where I can put it back in the vise, I think, and finish the cut that way. So let's hope I can do this reasonably straight if I put this in here. And I'm just going to move the camera again so you can see this is in my vise now. So I'm going to cut this again, and then I'm hoping that, and this is of course the bit I've got to get right, okay, because I don't want to suddenly, this is where I need a bit more light here. I don't want to suddenly find myself cutting just, oh, there we go, of course. There are better ways of doing this, folks. But I think I'm making, yes, there we go. Look at that. It worked. Okay, let's see now if this works vaguely on here. Oh my gosh, I'm so pleased with that. That actually, look at that. That actually worked, folks. Would you believe it? So the idea is that this goes in like that now. So that's where that cable's going to go. It's going to sit in there like that, and then it's going to come up and it's going to go into here. I'm so pleased with that. Fantastic. Well, look, it's epoxy time again. We're going to get to mix up some more epoxy. Let's do this. Let's do this. And while I think about epoxy, let's go back to the questions that people are asking, or the comments I'm making in chat. Oh my gosh, so many. I'm so sorry. What are we saying here? Oh, Stuart Ward's saying build a pulse rifle. That would be amazing. I would love to do that. That'd be a great project to do next. Demetrius had to go back to work. Oh, Stuart's saying a hot knife. A hot knife's not a bad idea, actually, Stuart. I wish I'd read this earlier. I do have one. I do have one. I could have used it. Thank you. I'll do that next time. And I do have a Dremel. I don't know if it would have worked with that, but maybe it would have done. Maybe you have a different technique to me. But I think we got there. We got there fairly smoothly. What I might actually do, though, is use a Dremel to just tidy that up, because that's a very, very, very good idea. And here's one I prepared earlier. This is a great little Dremel. It's not good for really tough things, but I find for finishing stuff like this, it's a perfect little tool, actually, because you don't need a cable on it, and you can just grab it and take it places. I use this a lot for cleaning up 3D prints, actually. Here's one of the challenges, though, with anything like this that's a friction-based tool, and then a plastic that might melt easily. What you find is that sometimes when you're trying to Dremel something like this, it starts to melt on you, and that can be problematic. But it is smoothing it out, and it's giving it a nice edge. It's going to get a bit of extra light on here so I can see what I'm doing, and so you can see what I'm doing as well. There we go. Woo! Sorry about that. There we go. Yeah, I'm just going to tidy up this edge here. So yeah, I think that's certainly going to be a much smoother edge for me to put on there. So thank you for mentioning the Dremel. That's a good idea. Very good suggestion. All right, let's see how that fits on here now. Hang on a second. I seem to have dropped a huge Amazon package on the floor that's stopping me from moving my camera around. So the idea is that that's meant to be a really nice angle there. And I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. I'm just going to look at this picture again. Gavin's saying, do I like the 100th anniversary intro for Columbia? I do. I think it's good. I think it's good. Right, here we go. So you can see what I'm trying to do right here in this picture. Create that angle there. And I think that's great. I think it's going to be perfect. I'm pleased with that. So I'm gonna take this now. Sorry, I'm just trying to go back to here and make sure that I've got the chat available. Stuart's going because it's 2 a.m. Happy building, and they'll be back. Thanks, Stuart. Thanks for hanging around for so long. I appreciate it. Okay, right then. So we're going to do the same process that we did earlier, which is taking this and mixing up some epoxy. And I ran out of epoxy earlier, but no fear. I had some epoxy right here. And if you've not used epoxy before, here is the information I will impart. So epoxy or resin is a resin. It's in the name. It's a type of glue. Let me just put that light away. And really what you're doing is you're mixing two chemicals together, these two chemicals. It's a 5-minute epoxy. And what's going to happen is that we're going to mix these two chemicals together, and they're going to go very hard very quickly. And I really like this pack, by the way, and I showed this stuff earlier, sorry. This camera is in the way of my workbench. So what you do is, you take the epoxy, I'm going to change the camera angle so you can see what I'm doing here, and just bring the camera over here a little bit more. There we go. Sorry to keep shifting you around like this, but you know, you do need to see what I'm up to. Right, so we take the tub, we take the lollipop stick or the tongue depressor, snap this piece off on the top of the epoxy. We're going to spray a little bit of this in here, and then we're going to mix the two pieces together. That's what we're going to do. To make a good glue, and then we pop this lid back on like that. And I did the one thing that I always forget to do. Earlier I didn't, but really you're supposed to wear gloves with epoxy. Because it's not easy to get off your fingers, is the reality of it. So I'm always worried about transferring the epoxy onto my technology that I'm using to live stream. So we're going to mix this up. And this is where this channel becomes the paint drying channel. Because as you can see here, what I'm doing is I'm just mixing those two chemicals together. And you want them as well mixed as you possibly can. And what you'll start to see happening is the color here starts to go slightly whiter. But the mixing, I should say, of these two things together is going to create an exothermic reaction. And I apologize if you've been here for the whole time and this is the third time you've seen me mix epoxy, but hey, you know, this is the glue I'm using for this project. But yeah, what you'll start to do is you'll feel it getting warm. Once it starts to get warm, you know that it's ready to use because it's starting to kick, which means it's starting to thicken. So, but the better the mix, the better the fix. There we go. I just coined that statement. The better the mix, the better the fix. Stephanie, hello. Stephanie has just joined you at a concert. A concert. Tell us about the concert, Stephanie. That sounds cool. Who was it? What was it? And Gavin is playing Ghostbusters on the Wii while I'm building a Proton pack. I love it. Multi-streaming. So let's see, it's starting to get warm now. It is starting, it is beginning to get warm. Okay, all right, I think we're almost ready to go. You'll see now, this is looking very white, ready to go, and it's starting to heat up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the epoxy and I'm gonna put some epoxy in this hole, because what is gonna go in that hole is the tube. Oh, and let me move the camera for you folks so you can see this. Let me get closer here. Okay, right. You can see that all right? Yeah? I'm going to put this in here like this. Just all around that hole. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece that we cut, and I'm going to put glue around the edge of it so that the epoxy is around that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the pipe and I'm going to take it at this angle because that's the angle that it is in the reference material I've got. I'm going to put the pipe in here, and then we're basically just going to hold this in place until the epoxy starts to kick. And there's really no rushing this bit. I've got to try and keep this in place, and this is much harder than the other one because this is a slanted surface. So yeah, this is going to be a little bit of a weight. So yeah, that's entertainment part though. Watching it dry, it is. Stephanie's saying it was a school and benefited found abilities in Wayne, New Jersey. That's awesome. That sounds great. Good for you. Good for you. I literally had just come back from right at the north of New Jersey and going through New York State for a bit for a track competition before I jumped on this live stream today. And it's funny because when I arrived home it was light. Now it is dark and it's 9 minutes past 9. But yeah, this is a guy holding glue in place so it will dry. Live on YouTube. I mean, you can't get better than that, guys. I mean, that's entertainment for you. It really is. So while I hold this in position, feel free to ask me questions. I can't go anywhere. I've got to stay right where I am. I can't move. I can't do anything. So, yeah. Gavin's saying, I want to try and make the Vigo picture, but like a larger or medium size. That's a cool idea. You should make a Vigo picture, and then you could project over it. You know, like the alternate creepy version of Vigo. You could do that, have a projection on it, and have him kind of change and transform. That would be kind of creepy and cool. I love any of you that have watched any of my experience builds that I do on this channel, and it's going to be an exciting one. The experience we're building this year for Halloween is going to be Back to the Future. But I love using projection as a technique for helping, you know, bring things to life. So I've just been editing our Ghostbusters experience. That video is pretty close to being finished now, but there's a whole piece in that where we project on scrim, which is like a semi-transparent piece of fabric that when it's lit in a certain way you can't see it's there, and we use scrim as a way to project Slimer being caught in a trap, which was super fun. Okay, it's close, it's almost there, but it's not quite there, but it's almost there, it's almost there. So I'm going to keep holding this. Gavin's saying, I forgot that you are 1 hour ahead than where you are. Yeah. Right, let me swap my fingers because my fingers are starting to go numb. Holding this in place here. Let me just move the camera away a little bit. There we go. You can see me, and you can see me holding the glue. It's true what they say about YouTube. I mean, you know, if you haven't got something dynamic going on the screen, people are going to go elsewhere, and that's exactly what's happening. Every time on this live stream that I've mixed epoxy and held it in place, the number of live viewers has gone boop, 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 boop. And that's fair enough. I mean, I wouldn't want to spend my evening watching paint dry, or glue dry even, possibly. My Friday night. That is not dry yet. My gosh. Let's see. This is kicked, so we're close. But this is actually, sometimes when you use the epoxy the very, very first time, there is not an equal amount of each of the things that you're mixing together, because the syringes don't always dump out the same amount of content. There's an air bubble or something. And I did notice with this one that one of the chemicals was a little bit, there was a little bit less of it. Is what I'm trying to say very badly. So yeah, this is a tough one, because holding it in this position is really awkward because it's on a slant. Before, when I did the two tubes on the side, it was really much easier to hold this in position. So yeah, learning new things. Yeah, let's see what's Gavin saying. Fun. Where do you get the scrim? So the scrim, you can, if you look on the internet, you can search up theatrical scrim, which is quite expensive, but you can buy scrim on Amazon as well. Different kind of quality types. It ranges, if you want a really, really expensive, good-looking experience, you're going to pay some real money for like a theatrical scrim. But you can also buy scrim on Amazon, and I mean, I didn't pay hundreds for mine or anything. It had to be reasonably priced because our budget was not huge for the Halloween walkthrough that we did. So yeah, we had to. Ooh. Okay, I think we're good. I think we are good. You know what? I think I can leave that. It's not quite dry, but I think I can leave that in place there. Whew! My gosh. That was quite an experience getting that to sit in position. There we go. I'm pleased with that. That's good. That's looking the way it should look. And again, I just want to make sure that nothing goes awry here with this. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased. That feels like that's gonna hold in place now. So yeah, that's good. We did these two side tubes. We've done this tube. And this goes to show how long this process takes of building a proton pack. It's not a quick or easy thing to do. It requires time, patience, and energy. And I don't have a lot of time left for getting this done, which is slightly worrying. I've got a lot more to do on the pack to get it ready for Ghostbusters Day. Oh yeah, and we did the screw at the front here as well, so that was good. So we did. What have we done on the live? We've done this bit. We've done these side pieces. Oh look, it's literally pulled itself off. More watching paint dry, guys. Sorry, but I've got to hold this in place some more because it's slowly easing its way off, unfortunately. Well, I hope that you're having a good evening wherever you are in the world while you've tuned into this crazy Brit building a proton pack in his garage. You know, I hope that you're having a good evening, that you either had a fun night or are about to go out and have a fun night. Danny, yeah, it's looking good. It's really getting there. It's really getting there. I was just joking at how I'm having to hold this pipe in place because it's gluing. And it isn't the most exciting thing to watch on YouTube, but it is a necessity for me to make sure that this stays in place. And the pipe, because of the nature of this pipe, is kind of pulling it out of position. So I'm hoping that that's good now. I'm hoping that that's stuck in the right place. But yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there. And all of these little peripheral pieces that you have to stick on in the last stages, they're the bits that are hardest. Because, yeah, I mean, especially because this is 3D printed. So like these pieces, we had to use epoxy to stick these in place. But they're looking really good now. They're held in there nicely. I'm actually very happy with that. I'm going to cut these pipes down a little bit more to have them be more accurate. But I think, I'm really hoping this epoxy's taken there. I think we're good. Woohoo! We did it. We did it. We got it in place. Now this pipe goes into here, and according to the reference material that I've got online, I'm going to have to just take another look at that. So just so you know, that was what we were doing. We were adding this piece here and putting that in place, and it's not too bad. It doesn't look perfectly like that, but it's close enough. It's good enough for me. And this was the pipes that we did earlier as well here. Look, so we did these two pipes on the side, and I'm going to have to cut those down a touch. In fact, this is a great shot. This is one of the things I've got to do next, is figure out putting the Alice frame on. That's probably a job for tomorrow, hopefully, if I get round to it. But yeah, I was looking for the shot of that pipe. And here's the thing. Oh, here it is. Okay. So this is the shot here that we're looking at. That pipe wraps around the ribbon cable that goes into then it goes into the resistor, and there's more strain relief there. So yeah, fun times. I'm gonna have to work with that too. But I think what I'll do then is I think I'll probably cut this off. I need to just check if there's any other blue piping. I think that those two blue pipes are the only two blue pipes on the pack. So I think I can give this a bit of a generous, I'm not going to cut it yet because I want that to be completely dry, but I'll give this a generous chop off here, and so it can go into there. And then I think the next job is going to be putting the ribbon cable on, which is going to be challenging in and of itself, because there's a lot of twisting to do. So here's the ribbon cable, and the ribbon cable will go here in this position, and then it needs to be wrapped around itself really tightly, and then it comes across here, and then it goes into this hole here. So yeah, there's a little bit of shenanigans to do with that. But as it's now past 9 o'clock, oh, let's see, what's Danny saying? A note, I modified a spirit pack, but I never managed to get a proper cyclotron light kit. What would you recommend? That's a good question. You know what, this one I got on eBay, and I was speaking to somebody on the channel before, and I need to add it because I've also got, this is an aside, I will come straight back to your question, but the power system that I bought for this pack, which is this battery, and gosh, I've got all my cables tangled here. I got this battery pack, and I've got this mini speaker, which I'm going to replace with some bigger speakers. Oh, hang on, there we go. There we go. So this I got myself. I didn't buy it. I obviously bought it, but you know what I mean. I didn't buy an Etsy version. But the light pack that I bought off Etsy, and I'll put the link in this when it gets archived on my channel. But yeah, this light pack was pretty good. But there are a whole bunch of different ones that you can get that even have that they've got like 3 lights here and here, and they show the lights spinning, which would be very cool. I would kind of like that. I went for, I suppose, a more traditional Ghostbusters 1984 look with mine. And then I have done a little bit of work with the windows of the cyclotron to make them kind of look hot. That was what I was trying to go for. It's hard to see on the camera, but you can see there's a kind of like a grid pattern on them that makes them look slightly different. Again, I'm kind of modding it and making it my own, which, if I couldn't make it my own a little bit, it wouldn't be fun for me. So I like it to look like the real thing, but I also want it to have its own character as a piece as well. Gavin's saying, like you like kit, but the Spirit Pack has a nice kit. I agree. The Spirit Pack, we talked about this earlier. One of the things I really like about this kit, on the Spirit Pack, which I'm going to show you here, is the really nice fading on the cyclotron. I think that's awesome. I love that so much. It's just very relaxing to watch. I actually usually have this pack on my wall in my office, and sometimes I'll just have it on the wall, and it's kind of cool just to see that thing spinning. But this is kind of more like the original. If you look at the movies, the 80s movies, this big, the light flashing as it goes around, that's what I've gone for. And the great thing about this stuff, any pack or kit you build, you'll notice that the lighting kit that I put in here, I hot glued it, right? So that stuff can come out, and if I want to upgrade it in the future, I can. And then obviously the lighting piece in there, I hot glued that in as well. So yeah. Okay, what's this next question? Have you modded any Spirit Ruby's PKE meters before? Hi Clay, by the way. No, I haven't, but I plan to. So I have the Spirit Halloween PKE meter, and I plan to mod it at the very least to make it aesthetically more in the universe for Ghostbusters, or at least Ghostbusters Afterlife. I actually had the privilege at the premiere of Frozen Empire of holding a screen-used PKE meter. That was a moment and a half for me. I was so excited to hold that prop. But that was fun, and actually after I held it, I exchanged some photos with Ben Eady, who was the prop master on Afterlife, just asking him, is this one of the ones from Afterlife, or was this built for this movie? Has it kind of moved forward? And he said, no, that was a new one. So it's going to be, I'm going to have a chat with him more about it. But yes, I want to do that, and that's probably one of the live builds I'm going to do on this channel, because I think that's a really fun one, and actually quite an easily accessible one for a lot of Ghostbusters fans. Building a pack is a huge undertaking, but I actually started before I doing the pack, and you guys that have been here for a while have seen this, but I started with modding these traps. So these are the Spirit Halloween traps right here, and this one I fully modded. So let me turn it on. So it's got more of an accurate light bar, more accurate lighting at the back, and this is the one I've said this to folks on the channel before, but this is the one Adam Savage signed for me, which was super cool when we met. But yeah, so I love the fact that there's so many toys out there now that you can get hold of. That means you can modify them for yourself. Because building stuff from scratch is sometimes a really challenging and kind of overwhelming feeling. But the idea of going, hey, I can just pick up this trap and I can mod it and I can make it my own, and I can, like I've done with this one, I can put a smoke generator in it and make smoke come out of it. It's coming, folks. It'll be there. There we go. Look, it's a smoking trap. The battery's a bit low on it, but you get the point. It smokes, and then when you open it, anyway, cool. So yes, I will plan to do a PKE meter at some point in the future. Gavin's saying, wish they're for premiere but changed the date. Oh, you wanted to be there for premiere but they changed the date. I'm sorry. Yes, they did. They moved it up a week, didn't they? Clay's saying, that's awesome that you got that opportunity. I'm trying to figure out how to rig some servos into the little tabs that open the trap. Okay, so I did exactly that with this trap that we've got here. This is a servo actuated one, so I replaced this whole piece here inside. and there's a whole video on my channel. So if you hit the sub button, then you'll be able to go back and find that video. It's called Toy to Prop, and it goes through the process of putting a servo into this this trap. So if you think that will help you, feel free to check it out. I mean, you do whatever you want, but that's just my journey on exploring that process of doing it. And I'm sure you might even find a better way of doing it than I did. But I was able to use one servo, and I was able to pull down this bolt here inside. And that means that you could, I can't press this button because it's been, I mean, it does move a little bit, but it's essentially been disabled because it's connected to a servo. And I used, it's like I had this ready for you. And I used this servo here. This is the size of servo, but all the bits I used are in the description on that YouTube video. So if you want to go check it out, hopefully that'll be helpful to you. Gavin's saying, look, you got more views after the glue drying. I did. We just watched glue dry for like 10 minutes. It was awesome. Clay, okay, thanks. I'll definitely check it out. Yeah, check it out. And good luck with it. I had so much fun doing it. It was a little bit fiddly to begin with. I had to cut, I laser cut a piece of wood to hold this in place to do the servo piece. But you'll see that on the video. Check it out, and it might be helpful to you. And if you come up with a better way of doing it, which I'm sure there are plenty of better ways of doing it, put it in the description. I'd love to know, because I'm always open to constructive criticism. I always say on my channel, I'm not an expert, I'm a guy trying stuff out, and you're joining me and we're doing this stuff together. And so I love the fact that people give me great ideas all the time, and I really appreciate it. So good luck with that. It's gonna be a fun project. I really enjoyed doing mine. In fact, we used it in a Ghostbusters experience, and so we had a hand control rather than the foot pedal for it. And so you turned it on and it kind of vibrated, and then you press the trap button and it opened up, and we had video synchronized with it, so it looked like you were catching a ghost. It was super fun. So yeah, glad if I could help in any way. So folks, I'm gonna was the GB logo in Ghostbusters Frozen Empire? Yes, the GB2 logo was. It was on one of the jumpsuits. You could see it in the background. There was some jumpsuits hanging up, and there was an old Ghostbusters 2 jumpsuit in the firehouse behind Ray. It's one of the shots in the movie. Well, on that point, I'm going to call it quits for tonight. I've been live streaming now for like 117 minutes. Thank you for joining me. We've had people come and go. It's been super fun. It's been great hanging with you guys. Thank you for watching. And keep watching. I'll probably do another live stream this week, and we're definitely going to live stream from Ghostbusters Day in New York City from the firehouse. I will be there live, and we'll get the opportunity to enjoy that together. And Stephanie, I think you're coming, so I will see you in person. You might see Stephanie on the live stream. Danny, thanks for the tip. I'll check it out. Check out Etsy. Yes, good luck, Danny. And good luck, everybody, with all your builds or your Ghostbusters fandom or whatever you're into. And have a great evening. And I will see you on the next live stream.